So before you pass the point of no return, it is imperative to know that this is a video about spoilers. So if you don't really want to know all that much going into this kind of stuff, you don't need to watch this one, but I'm going to let you guys know right up front, spoiler warning here for what we're going to be discussing here in this video. We're going to be talking firstly about a little bit of just some general broad perspective of leaks that'll be coming out from a top-down perspective, because we're getting to that point where people are getting shipments of Black Ops 4. People may end up getting the game early, and as such, of course, we'll just see more stuff come out in the next upcoming weeks or so, but the big bulk of this video is actually not something that is available via the actual content on disc for Black Ops 4, at least not to my knowledge. This is somebody that we're going to be discussing the leak that they gave us a ton of stuff talking about the Blood of the Dead Cinematic 9 and so much more in almost exact detail. So this stuff is, of course, just sort of transcending a regular old I got a copy early type of leak. But we are fast approaching that time. As of Friday, we're only 2 weeks away from the launch of Black Ops 4, so we are fast approaching when more things will be coming out. So keep your eyes and ears open for that, and if you want to know about them, you can know about them, but if you also want to avoid it, you know where not to look if somebody ends up dropping some leaks. But that said, I want to start out today's video by just pretty much saying that right now what we've seen is some indication that game copies are going to be going out very soon to retailers. That doesn't mean that us as consumers really have the best odds at getting a copy for ourselves. If you want to go hunting, of course, there are definitely always ways to do that. I know that personally, I myself have never had any sort of luck every single year that I've tried, so I've kind of just stopped at this point. But as of the last 24 to 36 hours or so, a couple of things popped up not only on Twitter, but also Reddit about these shipments coming in. The first indication that I ended up seeing here out of this, and actually people took this as the copies are out there right now, which to me it doesn't really look like that. Someone from the Spanish community who currently works in California in what seems to be a warehouse or a printing press, they ended up tweeting out some pictures of what looks to be the box art for the Mystery Box Edition. Now, if you take a look at the first image, it looks like a full complete box, but if you progress through the other images, you can see that it's almost the sort of sheets laid on top of each other before they're pushed out and made into that rectangular sleeve covering for the actual Mystery Box Edition itself. So to me, these pictures kind of pointed me in the direction that other people were not going, and that these aren't actually out there in the wild just yet, but that the pressing is being done right now so that people can get these in terms of a retail perspective very, very soon. So all that really has to be done is you put the stuff in the box and then slip that sleeve on top of it and ship it out to whatever retailer has orders on hand for Black Ops 4. But another image came from Reddit in which we ended up seeing that there was somebody that had their Walmart stock order sheet in which it said they have Black Ops 4 copies coming. So it seems like right now we're in that period where games are being shipped out to retailers so they can get their stock ready, so they can get their promos ready, and all kinds of things considered. So again, just coming back to it, in the next couple of days, I can almost guarantee you some people will be getting their hands on some copies of Black Ops 4. Whether or not that actually ends up translating into something they can actually use, who knows? Because with this game being all focused more so on multiplayer, you might need to actually connect a server, so you might not be able to get through that main initial start menu until an air quote day one patch goes live, even though servers are soft launched and stress tested about 3 to 4 days before the game actually launches. So until then, there actually might be some safeguards in place that you can't do that. I know that previously Activision has whitelisted some very few select people, and then everybody else can't get past that. That's pretty much more so for like the reviewers and all that kind of stuff, comparable to maybe say your IGN or other major news outlets like that. But I'm curious to see how it will be handled, because if people do end up getting their copies early, as for how useful that early time will be, if you can't get past that start menu, well, you know where this is going. You're not going to get many leaks here out of that. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be the sort of way they end up going with this year, or what'll end up happening, because whereas previously you could end up, say, playing the campaign offline, you won't really be able to do all that much if everything is online here for this game. So we'll see, but regardless, that's where we're kind of at. Get ready for some leaks in the next coming days to maybe week and a half or so. But one thing that I will say now, transitioning over, talking about some actual massive gameplay leaks, is this comes from, again, the user on Reddit named Omnipotentum. Now, he is again the person that ended up leaking a bunch of things for Blood of the Dead 9 and a ton more in absolute sheer crazy detail days and weeks before they actually ended up getting revealed. So in terms of credibility, this guy's got a decent amount here, at least in my books. And he was back at it in the last day, dropping a ton of information regarding Classified, the only zombies experience within Black Ops 4 that we have not seen anything about just yet. This is, of course, for those guys that don't know what comes along with the Black Ops Pass. This gives you day one access to Classified. If we've seen anything in terms of patterns over the past couple of years, it's probably going to be available for a separate purchase around, say, January, maybe February. We saw, I think, the last opportunity here for this was the Giant, which was around December and January. That was available for separate purchase, but right now it's available for those that end up getting the Black Ops Pass, and then they have access to that. But that said, he ended up dropping this, and you guys can follow along in the description below to the leak. The first portion saying that the Classified loading screen features Samantha Maxis, which then jumps back to this being the Ultimates crew, so you end up having our Black Ops 1 style characters of Nikolai, Takeo, Richtofen, and Dempsey. It's not the Primus characters that we've seen in Black Ops 3 and in Origins from Black Ops 2, but instead the original characters that we saw from World at War and Black Ops 1. He also ends up mentioning that the layout of Classified is similar to that of 5, however, there are multiple new and updated rooms, as well as an entirely new Pack-a-Punch area, which is definitely going to be interesting to see. The spawn is a little bit different, in which this is nearby the first room where a teleporter and the first perk machine can be found, and there's also increased debris, whereas if you were directly comparing it to, say, 5, well, it would be a little bit off. The war room is now a little bit updated with new wall-buy weapons, a second perk machine, a large globe with red shining lights that can be found on the ceiling, and then an area in which is locked via keypad that requires a code for entry, so maybe a little in-map Easter egg there as well. Whether that ties into an overall Easter egg, who knows, but that'll be cool to see that it's just locked to regular play. Additionally, there's a new server room featuring a mystery box, teleporter, and a piece of a buildable trap. As for the lab, that's where you'll end up seeing buildable parts for the shield, traps, and power switch, as well as a third perk machine. Now the Pack-a-Punch, the old one, is now a buildable part which can be used to amplify the teleporter and take you to what he describes as the Pack-a-Moon emoji punch location, which is cluttered with debris. So your guess is honestly as good as mine as to what that might be. If it ties all the way back into Moon, that'd be pretty cool, but Pack-Moon punch, it's a little curious. Regardless, along with Hellhounds, Nova Crawlers will return. Nova Gas then negates player movement more than the original, which already did quite a bit if you were to run straight through it, so it'll be interesting to see how much it actually does slow you down. And then additionally, the aesthetic of the map, there's all kinds of writing found on the walls of Classified saying "die to find the truth" and that Richtofen is the key. Now, additionally, the other aesthetic that was really cool with 5 were the monitors. If you remember that, there were a bunch of things that flashed up, including one that was probably most notable, the Illuminati symbol, and now the monitors in Classified will show iconic locations from the Aether storyline, such as Ascension, Moon, the MPD, Zombies, and Richtofen himself, and also they'll show the location of the mystery box and sometimes the Illuminati symbol. As for gameplay, Double Pack-a-Punch returns, and despite using the perk system that the Chaos maps use, the Aether maps use perk machines, not the god statues. So you'll see your sort of classic design style stay within this map. Perks and the order in which they are presented to the maps, though, are assigned on a per player basis. Now, there are new perks as well here introduced within Classified, in which we have Bloodlust or Death Wish, which upon losing the last of your health, you're given a second chance and some buffs, and it has a cooldown. Defensive Tortoise is a perk that allows players to have an equipped buildable shield that they are protected on all sides with, and an explosive blast is created upon the shield being destroyed. Stronghold creates a defensive zone around the player while shooting. Widow's Wail, very similar to Widow's Wine, allows for taking damage to activate a defensive explosion which freezes zombies. There's 2 charges of that before a cooldown. Next up is Perception, which will allow you to see zombies through walls and receive an indicator on screen when a zombie is approaching from another direction. Then PhD Slider is very, very similar to PhD Flopper, but it must be a charged slide before it can be used. Bandolier will allow you to have more reserve ammo. Time Slip allows for decreased cooldown time on equipment, perks, and teleporters. There's also new elixirs, which are the replacements for Gobblegum. These are going to be called Unknown, which will allow for teleporting to a downed teammate. Control Z allows for nearby zombies to become allies and attack hostile zombies, very similar to what we saw within Black Ops 3. And then Unknown will allow for drop points for teammates to pick up. There's then also Talisman modifiers, which you can start with certain perks, never lose the perk equipped in a certain slot, mystery box guarantees, and 30 plus more. Special weapons are going to be returning, so the Katana, DG5, Flamethrower, and Death Machine are already confirmed by this guy's leak, which will increase in strength as zombies are killed using them. Special weapons are also used to grant the player armor. The Juggernog perk is also seemingly removed, which is rather strange, but of course, while concerning at first, if you've seen any of the early footage that was leaked out, that also shows that there's a lot of different ways to sort of counter Juggernog. So it's gone, but not gone in a sense. We'll actually have to wait and see gameplay of that before we can really come to any solid conclusion here with that. Additionally, operator weapon mods for multiplayer are usable in Zombies, which is going to be awesome. I loved some of the operator mods that we had in the beta, and hopefully we have an operator mod or maybe more for every single weapon. Then also the final thing that was mentioned was throwable equipment. So you have grenade, Semtex, Molotov, acid grenade, fire grenade, deployable turret, and even more. Now a couple of those you may not recognize from the multiplayer beta, but some of them actually were within the Blackout beta. So it'll of course be very curious to see how all of this plays out, but right now, a lot of information about Classified, a map that so far we've seen nothing on. So maybe we end up seeing something for this on it tomorrow, because this guy also did leak some stuff leading up to the official reveals of the other maps so far, so maybe we're right on the cusp of an actual reveal, but for right now, a lot of stuff to consider and a lot of things to take in mind. So that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to? Are you a little concerned that Juggernog is not going to be seemingly in Classified? Are you looking forward to the return and alteration of PhD Slider? Are you guys just excited for any information on Classified or Zombies in general? Whatever it may be, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But that's where we're gonna wrap it up. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. If you're also new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Black Ops 4, Blackout, Zombies, and a little bit of COD World War II stuff still we got on deck. But regardless, if anything relating to Call of Duty interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow over on Twitter and Instagram, get a little more active over there, and I'm actually doing a little renovation project over the next coming days to a week or so of my entire office. So if you want to check that out on Instagram, feel free to follow. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.